Roxo Media House.
This is Frogs Today. And now here's your host, the voice of the TCU Horned Frogs, Brian Estridge.
Welcome into the Friday edition of Frogs Today Daily. We originate from the Flying T Club studios here today. Don't worry, we were out at practice this morning as the Horned Frogs wrapped up number 11 on spring practice. Bud Clark's going to stop by. He's the Horned Frogs safety, along with Trey Sanders. That's a name you need to file away, folks. Running back transfer from Alabama. Both of those guys are making an impact right now for this TCU football team. We'll hear from those fellows a little bit later on in the show. And on this Good Friday, we thought it would be fitting to tell you a good story involving a former TCU Horned Frog. That's coming up a little bit later on this special edition of Frogs Today Daily. First, some news and notes where TCU baseball is in the middle of a three-game series right now with Oklahoma State. Dropped that first one to the Cowboys on Thursday night. Series wraps up on Saturday. If you get a chance, get out and watch some Big 12 baseball with the Horned Frogs in town against Oklahoma State. Women's golf is in action out in Arizona at the Kirkland course. It's Big 12 match play. We're tracking that scoring for you all week long at Frogs Today and frogstoday.com. Luke Famba was back in action along with Sander Young, of course. Those two members of the men's tennis team, the number 2 ranked men's tennis team, played their final home duel, and they led the Horned Frogs to a 4-0 victory over Baylor. Circle your calendars, folks, for April 15. That Big 12 championship is probably going to come down to the match against Texas on April 15. By the way, they're in action Saturday, tomorrow, against Texas Tech is TCU tennis. And, oh, by the way, the other news that came around earlier in the week, TCU basketball announcing in conjunction with the Big 12 as part of the Big 12 Big East Challenge that the Horned Frogs will be taking on Georgetown, the Hoyas, on December 2nd in D.C. All right, let's get to football now, where Bud Clark and also Trey Sanders visited with us after the practice today, number 11, that took place in Amon Carter Stadium. Live action, a lot of scrimmage work. Officials on hand for this one. By the way, folks, good week for Josh Hoover. The Frog quarterback had a big day, connected with a couple of guys on some great throws. DeAndre Rogers had a nice one-handed grab in scrimmage action. You had J.P. Richardson making plays out there at wide receivers. A good day for the offense in this scrimmage work. So let's start with the defense. So Bud Clark, the Frog safety, joins us with a recap of today's scrimmage and what he thought of his defensive effort.
I feel like everything moving fast. I feel like we're doing pretty good, progressing together and building the chemistry all through this spring.
But obviously in his second year in Joe Gillespie's defense, we asked him if he feels like this group is starting to master Coach Joe's D. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We feel pretty solid. New kids coming in, everybody picking up on it, so I feel like it's going to be pretty solid.
Well, as the years progress now under this defense, we were curious if there were new wrinkles to it. Bud Clark tells us, no, this defense is going to do what it does.
Not really. Pretty much same thing. Like, we do this every year, so it's like same playing out.
The Frog offense pushes this group, especially with tempo. Kendall Briles runs quick game, obviously, a lot. It's been a great look for this defense in practice, and Bud talked about how it's made them better.
Yeah, it's helping on offense and defense because, offense moving around, everybody getting in shape, and I feel like this will help. Like, defenses won't be able to get their calls out.
A lot of new faces on this TCU defense. Great returning core that comes back, but you've got some impact players that have come into the program via both the transfer portal and as young guys who set out last year. Bud Clark says they're starting to make a difference in picking things up on the defensive end.
Pretty solid for sure. I'm ready to see how they play on game days, Saturdays.
One of the themes this year in spring has been how this team has reacted to the end of last year, playing with a purpose now in the offseason to get ready for the 2023 season. Bud Clark talked about the mindset, the mentality, if you will, of this defense.
Pretty much same thing. Get them into the culture and empty the tank.
That's Bud Clark, the Frog safety. Trey Sanders also joined us. He's a running back that you haven't met yet. Transfer from Alabama. This guy is, he was top 3 in the country coming out of high school. Arrives here in Fort Worth, and so we had to ask him how he's adapting to Texas and to TCU.
Man, I came here in high school, man, but it's a whole different program since Coach Dice been here, man. It's a winning program, too, and I can feel it, And I love being around here every single bit of it. I love the football program. I love the city of Fort Worth, too.
His previous stop was at Alabama with Nick Saban. We asked him to compare the two programs. Alabama, compared to TCU? Here's what Trey Sanders had to say.
It's not necessarily different because Alabama, they work as a championship team too, and Coach Dice is very detailed, and Coach Jones is very detailed too. So everything we do is very detailed and attention to assignment. So I say it's pretty much the same thing as Alabama, a championship team.
One big difference for him has been Coach Kaz. Obviously, the Frog strength and conditioning coach has had an impact on this program and these players, and you can tell it as soon as we ask the question of Trey Sanders to describe Coach Kaz's impact on his life right now.
Coach Kaz, man, if anybody meet Coach Kaz, man, he's the real deal. That's one of the best humans I ever met in my life. I'm sitting at every camera, I promise.
Highly decorated running back out of high school, goes to Alabama, decides he's going to hit the transfer portal. We had to know why TCU. Trey Sanders summed it up nicely.
Just the program and what it's becoming, man. Like, they building up around here, and I see a championship team this year, And Coach Jones, he's a hell of a running back coach, man, with a good resume, man. And he pushed me every day to become the best, so that was one of the main reasons I chose to come here.
One of the things that Anthony Jones Jr., the running back coach for TCU, does is he puts his guys through tons of individual drills. They all have a meaning. He'll tie one arm behind their back or something like that. He throws down the ladder. They got to run through that. They got to duck under a bar. All this happening at once. And we asked him, Trey Sanders that is, about the challenges presented in these drills and what he gets out of them.
The drill ain't necessarily hard, but it's just teaching you how to be explosive and how to get up out the blocks and get up out the smoke. Because when you running, there's a lot of stuff going on in the running back and the D line, and you trying to go through the smoke and stuff like that. So we just working on exploding through the smoke, exploding through arm tackles and things like that.
Trey Sanders has been, he's been showcased here early on in the scrimmages that we've seen, but we did ask him if there was one part of his game that we haven't seen yet, and he was quick to respond.
My explosiveness. I say I haven't shown my explosiveness since my sophomore year, but I'm very excited for the spring game and this season to really get to show people what I'm capable of this year.
Much like when we talked to Bud Clark, we talked about the mentality of this team and what he, as an outsider coming in now, has viewed on from this TCU Horned Frog football team as they get ready for the 2023 season.
Details, and the hungriness just from everybody coming off a championship game like that. Everybody want to come back and be the best version of themselves. And the first day I came to work, guys, I seen in everybody's eyes like that wasn't the team that played in January. They want to come back and they want to do better this year. And I get to add on to that, so it's very exciting.
A lot of success for this offense is going to come down to quarterback play. Chandler Morris, Josh Hoover in that battle right now. We asked him what he's seen. He's been around some great quarterbacks in his day, has Trey Sanders. What has he seen out of these two?
Oh yeah, them my dudes, man. I'm always excited to see quarterbacks, man. I got to watch Mac and Bryce Young. Bryce Young do his thing too. My boy Milroe do his thing too. Tua, So I got to see I got to experience a lot of good quarterbacks. So this ain't nothing but just watching the greats just do their thing,
Trey knows he's not going to do it alone at running back. He's got to rely on his offensive line. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, we ask him about that running back room. There are 4 or 5 guys, each with different skill sets. What does he think of this running back room now at TCU?
Man, I say we got the best running back room in the country. I ain't just saying that just to say, just to be talking, but we work our ass off every day, and we bring it. That's our goal, is to be the best running back in the country. We
mentioned that offensive line, so very important to the run game. Trey Sanders is high on those big fellas in front of him.
Oh, yeah, we all adjusting, we all learning the playbook. It's all new to us, but O-line been working their ass off just like everybody else, man. I feel like we still going to get it done no matter what. O-line, that's where it's all started at. So we got the best O-line in the country, too, also.
And finally, we asked about the TCU defense. It's been challenging this Frog offense, especially early on in spring ball. Here's what he had to say about that group that he stares down every day in practice.
Defense is going to talk all the time, and they always push me to. It kind of reminds me of Alabama, the competition all the time. Each and every day, Shad Banks. You got my boy Jax out there. He a freshman. He out there trying to give us hell too. So it's been competition every day.
That's Trey Sanders, the Frog running back, transfer from Alabama, now a vital part of this TCU offense. Practice number 11 wrapped up today. They're going to have the weekend off now as Coach Dykes urged them to celebrate Easter. Remember what it was for. They'll pick it back up on Monday with another practice. Number 12 will be there for you here with Frogs Today Daily. Don't go anywhere, though, folks, because coming up, a very special story with some good news on this Good Friday involving a former Horned Frog. Stick around. It happens next. when Frogs Today Daily continues after this timeout.
At Higginbotham, we put people first. So we simply start by listening to you. Whether you're searching for customized insurance, HR, or financial solutions to protect your home, car, health, business, or employees, our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Higginbotham. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
Texas-based Happy Water offers the best-tasting, sugar-free kids drink ever made. Happy Water comes in 4 delicious flavors that you can find at local retailers and on Amazon. Each pouch contains 0 grams of sugar, 0 calories, and 0% juice. Head to happydrinks.com for more information and to purchase Happy Water. That's HAPI drinks.com. Live happy, be happy, drink happy.
The Flying T Club provides the everyday TCU fan and alum the ability to specifically support TCU student athletes. Flying T Club offers 3 levels of memberships. The Flying T Club is a nonprofit organization supporting the brand development of TCU student athletes through a series of unique event-based networking opportunities, which are exclusive to our members. These events provide a great social engagement tool for our members and student athletes alike. Follow them on Instagram at Flying T Club or online at flyingtclub.com. Welcome back to Frogs Today Daily here on the Good Friday. We thought we would enhance today's show with some good news. We could all use good news at this time, could we not? Well, we found a former Horned Frog that you'll remember. He was a great running back here, ran for over 2,000 yards. I think he had 29 touchdowns, had a great day against San Diego State that will always stand out. We're talking Joseph Turner, who was a big, bruising running back for the Horned Frogs, who now has shown us a little bit of a soft side. You see, Joseph is the head coach at Northside High School in the Fort Worth ISD. Not known as a traditional football power, Joseph Turner has found his calling as more than a coach. Here's a little preview for you of a 20-minute video that we did with Joseph Turner that you can see in its entirety on our website at frogstoday.com. But enjoy this snippet of that conversation right now. Joseph, when you show up at Northside as an assistant coach, later an offensive coordinator, now the head coach, when did you realize this was your mission, this was your calling in life?
As soon as I got on the football field with those guys, I did not realize it was going to be this much fun, and then being able to work with the young men, just honestly, what we talked about on the phone was the challenge of it all every day. That's why I got a lot of days accrued and I don't take a lot of time off, because it's, hey, I have the freedom to move around and take care of my coaches and take care of the kids, and it's fun. Making their relationships, building their relationships, and talking to my principal every day, keeping him informed, and the assistant principals and the staff and the kids. And one of my coaches said, "Man, you know everything." I said, "Well, that's part of the job, walking around and collecting information and making sure that everybody is on the same page. If we're all on the same page, we'll be fine."
When you take the Northside job, historically, this has not been a great football job.
No.
You knew that going in. What did you see in it, though?
Well, the 3 main goals that we had, that we still have, is, for one, have a winning record, have over 500, compete for a district championship, and then make the playoffs. Like we're just now as a program to where we're consistent in what we're doing. Over the last 4 years, we're one of the top 2 or 3 teams consistently when it comes to wins in Fort Worth ISD. We're sending guys to college and we're doing those types of things. So we're just trying to be as consistent as humanly possible.
You were part of bowl games at TCU. You ran for over 2,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, something like that. I mean, you found your way to the end zone. You know what that was like on the biggest level. Where does making the playoffs for Northside rank?
That's number 1. It's number 1 because I told the boys I never made it to the playoffs when I was in high school. I played on 1 winning team from 7th grade to senior year. And it was freshman year when I was just bigger, faster, and stronger than everybody. And I was scoring 5 or 6 touchdowns a game. And we won 6 or 7 games that year. But, you know, 7th, 8th grade, sophomore up to senior year, you know, we're losing games. And I'm like, man, I never made it to the playoffs. So not only did it, you know, do some history here, but I was able to share that moment with the boys also.
But what's the most important part of your job?
Being here for my coaches and my boys every day. Taking care of those guys. It's great knowing that I'm in position to help the kids through my coaches. That's what I've realized. Because I'm not in the classroom, I'm not in the passing periods all the time. You know, those guys, I tell them to have the different relationships. So for me, it's to be consistent in who I am and what I do. They know me. I'm a no-nonsense type of guy. I'm going to be consistent every day. We're going to work. You know, we're going to give you everything ahead of schedule. This is the plan. This is how we're going to execute the plan. You know, if you guys are on board, then you're on board. If you're not, you're not. You know, no offense, I'll still say hello to you in the hallway, but if you're with me, I'm going to take care of you. My boys don't worry about academics. They don't worry about discipline issues. They don't worry about how they're going to eat throughout the day. They don't worry about what they're going to eat throughout game days. They got 2 different color helmets. They got about 12 or 15 different jersey combinations. They don't have to buy anything. They don't have to do anything but show up. And the guys that get it. They show up and they do it every day. And they don't have to do anything. Just show up and just be the best that you can be. Like even the coaches take care of them. Man, they argue for 30 minutes on game days about what they're going to wear because they got so much stuff.
You're right.
Right?
When you were at TCU, are there 1 or 2, 3 things that you took from your time there that still resonate with you today as you build your program?
Work ethic. That's the consistency of it, learning how to work and learning how to get up every day and not complain. It's easy to find a reason not to come to work or complain about this or complain about that, what's not working. But at the end of the day, I understand that I'm the head of a program, and if it's not working, it's my fault. I don't know a lot about a lot right now, but I know how to work. We know how to work hard, and it's going to start with a lot of hard work. I'm going to lose some guys. I'm going to lose a lot of guys. But we're going to consistently get better, and we're consistently getting better.
Those conversations when a young man comes in this office and sits here, and you close that door, what's been the hardest thing you've had to deal with?
I can't say it on camera. I cannot say it. I have cried in front of young men before because I felt compelled to share with them some of the life things that I've been through, because I tell them, you know, fellas, you guys got to trust me. We got to have a relationship. I have boys come in this office and they close the door, man, they break down. And, you know, that's tough. So I got to make sure that every day I come in, I'm the best me that I can be, leave any issues I have outside, because the last thing I want to do is give them any type of wrong advice. And this may sound a little rough, but I've told a couple of guys the same thing that one of my coaches told me, and I never understood it. When I hurt my knee in high school, he told me, he said, man, you're not special. I said, you're not special at all. I said, what you mean? He said, you know how many guys around the country hurt their knees? You know, they got scholarships on the line and, you know, things change. So I got to tell some guys, when I find an issue where it's a common issue, I'll tell them, fellas, you're not special because there's 10 other guys in that locker room going through the same thing. You guys don't know because you don't talk to each other. Like, that's the best place to be in the locker room. That's why you spend so much time at the football complex. That's why guys continue to chase their dream, is because they miss what's going on in the field house. One day they'll be super happy, one day they'll be super down. You know, I got a boy, I tell him all the time, man, you need a hug. I'll give you a hug, man. I ain't give you 2 on hug. I'll give you a handshake and a hug. You know, if you're feeling a certain way, or, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Coaches too. Coaches too, man.
That just gives you a little idea of the extended conversation that we had with Joseph Turner, who is making a difference on the north side here in Fort Worth. I want to encourage you to go to our website at frogstoday.com right now and watch that video in its entirety. It's about 20 minutes long, folks. But you know what? On this Good Friday and Easter weekend, it's exactly what you need. Check it out. It's Joseph Turner on our website at frogstoday.com. Thank you, Joseph, for what you're doing there on the north side and representing TCU. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Frogs Today Daily. We want to thank you for joining us. We encourage you to like, comment, share, and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel for Frogs Today and to frogstoday.com. And from our entire crew here at Frogs Today, we'd like to wish you and your family a happy Easter. Thanks for joining us. See you Monday with another edition of Frogs Today Daily.
Frogs Today is brought to you by the Flying T Club, supporting TCU student athletes. Frogs Today is a production of Roxo Media House.
Roxo Media House.